Setting up an SRX800 receiver to record beeper tags. Start your host program after you physically connect it up to your receiver, and then connect by USB or RS-232 depending on the connection cable. In my case it's the USB, and then I have to log on. As you can see, it says USB, active user, and SRX mode, data log scan. To make any changes to your receiver, you must first put it into setup mode by pressing the red button with the white square, and then reset your memory. Now, if your receiver has been data logging along, it is best to download it first before you do this reset. In my case, I have a few beeper records on there that I don't need, and I'm going to reset my data memory. This button right here. It'll give you a little warning, and just say yes. Then press exit and go to your project editor. Now, I have one beeper tag going, pulsing every 40 seconds on a particular frequency. So we're going to go live, and this just shows you what's on board the receiver right now. I have a scan time of 3 seconds. It says Low-Tech 4 code set, but it really is undefined. It's just a placekeeper there. It's whatever the first code set is in the line. So right now I have a 3-second scan time. I don't have GPS clock or time at an acquisition or CRTO set, and it's not required unless you're trying to compress data. Next step is to go to the frequency and channels page, and to save some time here, I've entered 10 different frequencies. Number 2 there is the one that I have a tag actually pulsing on, and then I'm going to send to the receiver every time I make a change. And just like when you put your 10 or 20 frequencies in, make sure that you send it to the receiver. It's important. It's what we'll be scanning on. Next, go to your antenna configuration. In my case, I'm in the office, and I'm only using one antenna, and I'm using an MD type. So that would require me to use SRX800 switch. If you have a D version, which is the one that's in a Pelican case, and it's a waterproof case, then you would select SRX800D. Now this is giving me a warning that I'm not using a D, but I'm hooked up to a regular SRX MD. So at this time I'm in an office situation, and I'm going to be picking up a lot of noise because I'm in a manufacturing radio transmitters. So I can actually probably go even down to 20 since I'm within a few feet of the tag. And then I'm going to send to receiver. Now with the beeper tags, they're hard to discern from the noise, and our receivers are quite sensitive, and you can actually increase this gain level up to say 90, and here I probably won't hear anything. So I'm going to send that to receiver just to show you what can happen if you set it up. Now if you're in a total radio free environment, you might be able to get away with 95. It's highly unlikely. So anyways, we'll just send it to the receiver and we'll press OK. Now it's going to ask me to save this SRX file, and I could, but I'm just going to not for this demonstration. So I'm just going to say no, and then I'm going to start my data log, and then I'm going to show it on live view. Now it's going to show you numbers here, which is you're transferring from one channel to the other. None of this gets recorded on in your data, the transferring. And you can see how the gain is 95. Now I'll turn up the volume on this receiver I have, and all you hear is noise. So it's totally masking any signals, and it's not, and right now I'm on the beeper channel. I can barely hear it, and it's totally masking it from the recording. So now I'll turn that down, and I will stop it. I'll go back into setup mode. I'll get rid of the battery status. Okay, as you can see, there's no beeper records whatsoever because that noise just overpowered it completely. So I'm going to reset the data memory and say yes, and then exit, and then I'm going to go back into my project editor. I'm going to go to the antenna. First I'm going to go live, and then I'm going to go to the antenna page. Now I'm going to bring that down because this is a normal level for outdoors, about 70. If you're in a confined space, you may want to even go lower. But in my case, being like I said, a radio transmitter manufacturer, I'm going to have to drop it significantly down, or I'm just going to be listening to noise. Okay, I'm going to send it down to 30, and I will send it to the receiver. Even now, I might get a bit of noise into the receiver. Okay, so I'm just going to press OK. I'm not going to save my SRX file, but I would suggest if you make any changes, to save it and on your computer so that you can go back and see something that you used once before. Okay, so now I'm going to data log. I'm going to see it in live view. Let's see what's going to happen now. You're probably even going to pick up noise now. As you can see, the yellow lines are just the unit switching from one to another. You see that first line at the top? You might not have heard it, but that was the actual beeper tag now out from the noise. It's in my office, and the middle of the screen here gives you a power level. The power level is 208. It doesn't get much higher than that. There's only 209 and 210 at the most. So I'm virtually sitting on the tag. As you can see here, it's the 164 361. It matches the one up at the top, and all the other channels are not picking up noise. So you're getting a nice clean signal. There's only 2 records so far, beeper records, and it goes from 10 more seconds, and as you can see, it's switching through all 10, and that total scan time is about 30 seconds. Now, if you're worried about just filling up your memory, a good idea is to maybe let it sleep for a few seconds in between scan cycles. And the method of doing that, I'll show you now. So I'm just going to go back into setup mode. And now we're going to see what we've actually logged here. And there should be about 5. Yes, there's about 5 records. So you have 5 beeper records, and battery status is 2 times in that time period. And I changed the receiver configuration a couple of times. So now you can either download the data, and I would suggest that if you're starting up 20 tags in your office and you want to know that they're all working, just scan through them all, get a record that they're with a power level, and then you'll have it at the beginning of your study saying, yes, all my tags are working. Okay, so in my case, I'm just going to reset the data memory, and then I'm going to hit exit. So I'm going to go back into Project Editor. I'm going to set this up by going live, and I'll show you how to make it sleep for a little while. Okay, so at this time you go scan time is 3 seconds. This is for a beeper tag. In my case, it's a 40 BPM, and I'm just going to set it at 3 seconds. And now, to make it go to sleep, let's say we only want to hear it every 5 minutes. You want a record every 5 minutes. So it's going to scan through. 3 times 10 is 30 seconds, and then it's going to sleep 270 seconds. So I'm going to just decrease that down. I'm just going to make it 100, just so that we can see on the screen. I'm just going to hit send to the receiver. I could have just hit applied, but I'm going to send that to the receiver. And then I'm going to go OK. Now, I would suggest you save this because you may want to do this with other receivers if you have future ones, and you just key in a number, value, date, whatever you'd like, and then just save it into the SRX files. And that'll be under, most likely, projects in the SRX800 host. So now we can see what this does. We'll hit data log, and then we're going to show you live view. It'll clear the screen, and you can hear that tag going off. But now, as it goes through its entire cycle, you'll see it go through its 30-second cycle. That's 3 times 10. It's just going to go through the channels. As you can see, that top record, that'll be stored on board. And now it's going to go back and then go to sleep. So right now, I don't know whether you can hear it or not, you have dead air. And as it comes back on, it'll start on the first channel on your list. And just do that cycle and then go to sleep. We'll wait for it to come up, and it should start up a few moments, because it's going to be sleeping for about about 70 seconds. So it's about 1 minute and 10 seconds. And then it'll go back into its cycle again, and you'll see it start up any moment. And then it should go right into, it'll be the second channel, and it should give you one more record. Now if you had multiple beepers, you should get, here it goes, and that's the first channel, and now the second one with the beeper on it, and it'll give you one record, and then it'll go back to sleep again after it does all 10, which is 30 seconds, and then it'll sleep for, like I said, 1 minute and 10 seconds. And that's how you compress your data and send your receiver to sleep.